Hi everyone, it's me, Carbundance. Welcome back to another video from my 365 days from eating disorder to recovery, and I'm going into many screenshots in this video. This video might seem long, but I actually will put timestamps into the description box so you guys can, get as much of the video as you possibly can. Thumbs up for that already. So you see here on the first day of that week, this is a whole week, 1 year ago, I actually challenged bread. Well, you can see I was actually fancying jam, like actual marmalade. I was too scared to do that, so I had like yogurt, vegan yogurt, and instead of the butter, and jam. So, and also jam I only fancied with butter actually, because jam by itself, I don't know, I don't really like it that much. And so yeah, that's my 2 cents about that. You can see throughout the whole week, like everything is extremely whole food. You can see here also plenty of fats in there. This is like a tahini sauce in this dinner. And I was still in the scope of, well, this is real recovery. I'm getting in the calories. You see here someone was arguing that coffee is a healthy substance. And I got into that because I knew that all of my anxieties around food, one of them was coffee and caffeine, are not enriching my life. They are actually making me paranoid and like really anxious about stuff in general. And so I just got into things like this and kind of take away from that fear of mine. It is a restriction if you are opting out of eating something because you know it won't feel good in your body or it goes against your values. It is restriction if you're avoiding a food because you're afraid of it. There's a difference. This difference is everything. I don't necessarily agree with that, because you can have both of these scenarios. And if the eating disorder has a say in a food decision, then in my opinion, it is still restriction. Like, I don't care how, I don't care how much you think it does not well to your body. It's, it still feeds the eating disorder. And that is just something that I really took a long time to wrap my head around, to not allow and to like get into real recovery and not allow anything that pleases my eating disorder, no matter how much my brain justifies it. This was kind of a turmeric, raisin, cheesecakey kind of thing. You can clearly see I was craving cheesecake, and I've always been a cheesecake girl. Actually, it is my favorite cake in general. But even the vegan cheesecake, which is even the vegan real thing, was not approved of by my eating disorder there. So I basically tried to make a healthified whole food version, like as whole food as possible, out of everything that I craved, and still made it up in my brain as something, as real recovery. I was genuinely thinking that as much as I'm eating enough calories, and I'm going to go into that in detail also in this video. So if you have to go back from the video because it's longer, then make sure you come back to the video, because this is just packed for you guys. And I know that you guys will take out so much from this. If you do, please do make sure you give this a thumbs up. It's just, it's not enough to just eat enough calories. And I know I keep saying that and it might sound repetitive, but videos like this that I make now, I would have needed 1 year ago. I would have needed someone who had told me it's not enough to just eat enough calories. And I did actually have these people, but there were very few. And I'm aiming to just, my aim is to show people who have a similar background as mine that they actually have to take away all of these rules. I don't care how ethical they are. I don't care how justified they are. Like, yeah, have the darn cheesecake. It's not enough to just have whole foods as much as possible. I don't care if you eat 4,000 calories or 5,000 calories from whole foods. You're still going to be in your prison cell just as much. You might be able to make a prison cell bigger by having more calories, but it's just not only about physical recovery. Not at all, not at all only. You saw these close-ups from David's and mine eyes, and that's because I kind of got interested into iridology, like the science about eyes. I don't really know what kind of stance I have on this. I do think that you can kind of make some assumptions about humans' health by looking into their eyes, but also at the same time, I think many times it's also abused or misused. So yeah, that's just something, another orthorexic tendency that I got into there. Also this kind of mucus lining that people are claiming to lose when they're juice fasting. You can read through these things if you want. Mucoid plague. I actually got into the Arnold arid mucusless, mucus-free diet, and how is he, Spencer? I can't really remember the name of the one who's also raving a lot about it, but so for like an over acidified body, and just basically with these contents feeding my orthorexia, feeding the eating disorder, and my eating disorder justified this to me so much, and I was it tried to take this information in order for me to justify that I'm eating so overly healthy. This is where I made some juice. I guess it's watermelon juice and some greens. That's what it looks like. And there's also going to come kind of, I think, more, I don't really know if I buy this thing with mucoid plague. If you guys read through these things, please do not take everything as a fact. Please don't. And day 13 juice fast. This is after 3 days taking the bentonite clay. You don't know, maybe it's the bentonite clay and the psyllium husk, right? It's just like, I would be very, very careful in what I believe there. I just show you these things not because I think you should believe this, quite the contrary, but because I think you benefit from me showing you what I got into there. This is not re-recovery. Mind you, I was thinking that was re-recovery where I was there. It was not. I was getting into content like this, and I was thinking, well, maybe, my swollen fingers that I had there, they are just a sign that I need to cleanse more. I need to maybe make my first juice fast. As long as I get enough calories, right? That should be fine. You see here, stinging nettles. This was actually everything that went into this juice. And it's just, yes, I mean, it's a cool experience to drink a juice, and basically, yes, you can get enough calories drinking juice, but it's so unsatisfying. And no, you cannot replace chocolate bar with juice. Your body is not craving carrot juice or apple juice or whatever kind of juice when you are eating disordered, and when you're in an energy deficit. It wants you to eat like the fats. It also needs the fats to actually absorb not minerals, but the vitamins, the fat soluble vitamins from the juice. I mean, and I made a decent amount of juice. Also looking at pizza, vegan pizza, whole food, wholesome pizza. On that day, that was mental hunger. I had a protein bar there that was kind of the candy bar that I actually fancied. You can see clearly this was not real recovery. So someone is raving here about the fact that low calorie density is not really what it is claimed to be in the plant-based community. And they say, that there are many health diets, and yes, a calorie isn't always they're talking about physical satiation, and that volume eating is not the thing that satiates you on all levels, quite the contrary. And it's just like, that was what I got into there, that I kind of knew I need to get away from this kind of volume eating. Like, what am I doing? I had these kinds of backs and forths of, I basically know what I have to do. This is not recovery. I am not free of everything. And just, I was too afraid of doing so. You see here, even with my oatmeal, I had a carrot on there. I guess it was because I had some spare calories still, and then I had an extra carrot. Like, wow. Even the fact that I was still counting calories, I was still using chronometer, huge no-go. You cannot count calories in your real recovery. If you do, you're in quasi recovery. You cannot take, I emphasize, you cannot. I will go further there. You see here this thing, huge mental hunger. I was looking at things like this, but I was eating this kind of thing. Find the mistake. It's, I was not eating according to my mental hunger, clearly. I cannot think about what I was going on before. Yeah, let's just roll with it. So you can see here so much apple and, just wholesome foods. And people, some people say, well, you used to eat so healthy and it all looks so nice. But if I look at it now, I actually also sometimes I just get that, wow, that's so much fiber and roughage. And it's not like you do need to eat this all the time in order to be healthy. If you eat this way, you are not going to recover. I hear it so many times. It's mentally, it's pretty much not possible, because you're not able to live in the normal world if you cannot eat processed foods, if you are afraid of eating processed foods. And also physically, you pretty much, this is also a very measly portion of peanut butter on top of there. Physically, you cannot fit in the calories that you need in order to reverse the energy deficit, in order to rev up your metabolism. I know I would not have been able to recover on whole foods, but it took a long time for me to actually get down with that fact. And in this time I was still trying to make a healthy whole food version of a cheesecake. I do love oatmeal, but I took that as a justification to continue eating oatmeal on oatmeal on oatmeal on oatmeal, and just with the justification that I just love it, and I do love it. But I was talking about that before. That's not an excuse to do and to eat something that pleases the eating disorder. Oatmeal was a safe food of mine, and just because it was, like, for real recovery, I don't care how much I really loved it, it had to go. Like, I had to eat the things that I was truly afraid of. It had to be replaced by things that I was actually afraid of. And I also don't care how many fats I included there, how many whole fats. Even if I had not counted calories, there I know that it's just something, it just kept alive this anxiety, and this anxiety around eating as healthy as possible, and this fear of certain foods. Someone says, been on a balanced omnivore diet for 2 years now, and my health is improving slowly. And yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, this girl also saying, no counting calories or crazy workouts. I want, and someone loses weight that way. Well, yeah, but you can also be eating disorder by not counting calories. Never hungry, no migraines, working with the body. That's what I was doing a year ago in quasi recovery. I was never hungry, and I also made progresses mentally and physically. And I thought, well, that's it, that's recovery. But at some point I felt like, wow, you are bullshitting yourself big time, girl. you need to actually make a drastic change in order to call this real recovery. And in my videos I aim for you guys to recognize that in your lives. It is not real recovery if you just eat more whole foods, if you just add plant fats, if you were afraid before of fats, or if you eat more carbs or whatever. Like, if you're still in this orthorexic, this food is good for me, this food is bad for me, it's not real recovery. Here for me, I was so proud of myself that I was eating so much more, like plenty of fats. I had here coconut and sesame, and I was basically eating fats with every meal. And that was a big step for me after so many years also of very high carb, very low fat. But real recovery is where you get rid of all food rules. I don't care how ethical the food rules are. I don't care how justified they are by diet culture. Like, no excuse. And in order for you to be able to live a life free of any fears and anxieties around food, like, you can go anywhere in the world, you can go into any restaurant or cafe, and you will not be afraid of what they will have to eat there, and if it will be fine in the eyes of your eating disorder. It's it was raining outside. And I mean, in order to eat this way, wow, I also ate half of an avocado. I was actually patting myself on the shoulders for that, because there have been times in my life where I was not able to eat half of an avocado. And yes, that's a step. Yes, that's an improvement, but still, like, nothing compared to what I could have done and should have done. And that's just something I was not able to see there. Well, I did see some glimpses of that, but I was just still too scared to make the steps. And I show you what I ate last year to show you the whole development, my whole development in terms of what I ate and in terms of how I got to real recovery in the end. I mean, yes, great, I could eat avocado there on potatoes, but I could have done much better. Have had acne for 10 years on my cheeks and chin, and they say I have been 100% all in for 3 months now, and my skin cleared up 3 weeks after going all in. And that's amazing. And it's actually, I'm sharing here stuff with you that I went through on exactly that day. These were screenshots, and you can go through them and pause them. It's just amazing because it shows you that actually acne goes away if you stick with it, and you should not tend, first things first, gain weight, stop also cutting out foods. You should not be fretting and cutting out food groups because you're getting acne. It's actually because your hormones need to be out of whack in order for you to actually recover. Okay, just make sure to hit those 2,500 plus minimums every damn day. And they say they don't have to eat dairy. I disagree with that. You will see here a lot of people saying, well, it doesn't matter what you eat. You do not have to eat dairy. It's fine. If you think it makes you break out, then just don't eat it. I was thinking it the same, and again, it was just a justification again from my eating disorder, or that pleased my eating disorder. And it was also from a logical brain, but also pleasing my eating disorder, and so it had to go. Me having a past of acne, I was really afraid of dairy also, but the acne went away and I'm still eating dairy and I have no issues with it, and I just want you guys to stick with it. Choosing the lower calorie option purely because it's lower calorie option is still restriction. Saying no to your favorite dinner purely because your eating disorder is telling you to is still restriction. Not joining in purely because you're worried there might be food is still restriction. Eating the same food every day, even though you want to try something new, is still restriction. Yes, come on. Sticking to the same intake every day because you worry about eating too much is the restriction. Little restriction is still restriction. These things I just had to really confront myself with. I've been plant-based for 6 years and got my period back without any dairy whatsoever. And yes, it's not like you cannot, of course you can get your period back without eating dairy. That's not what it's all about. But you will see, like when you read through these things, it's really not about just eating enough calories. Yes, you can nutritionally rehabilitate and weight restore, for the most part, at least in some cases. But with not eating everything, with restricting some kind of food groups, yes, maybe if you eat enough calories, that's possible. But mental recovery will not be possible with that. You see, the full recovery is what we're going for. Hi Ava, I think it's part of your orthorexia. It's not a real thing, it's just in your mind. As soon as you stop restricting yourself and as soon as you start to incorporate all kind of foods, that fear is going to go away. Yes, and that's exactly my experience as well. The solution was not changing from one type of food control to another one. You will waste your time inside a horrible mind prison, believe me. Exactly my experience. I used to eat very low sodium and I actually had the worst dizziness and would see stars when I made sudden movements. Was also me. And so don't be afraid of sodium. I recommend all of my clients limit veggie intake to no more than a cup a day and avoid high fiber supplements. Yeah, I mean, anything that you eat in fiber, like the more whole food you eat in recovery, you're going to you make it hard for you. Unnecessarily, you make it hard for you. Fiber is not the thing that your body needs in order to recover. It's just how it is. But I thought I had to eat, it was because I hadn't had lactose for a long time and they didn't make the enzymes enough that they couldn't tolerate it. But the more they ate lactose, the better it went for them. You can just pause it and read through everything. Yeah, that's what they say here again. If it still bothers you, you just find some replacements. There are some, okay, no. Yeah, I mean, these are people going back and forth. They also say HA, so hypothalamic amenorrhea, led to people feeling lactose intolerant. And it's just like most of the times, it's not real intolerance. It's actually your body being unable to digest it because you haven't had it for such a long time. And the solution is not staying away from it, but actually introducing it back again so that you can tolerate it again. I have no problems whatsoever with dairy now. The very nature of the process is that you don't stress about foods and have no restrictions. Obviously, if you crave yogurt, have full fat. Yeah, that's also another thing. I was vegan for 13 years, so I know what you're talking about. So these are vegan people talking about if they can eat vegan in recovery or not, and that's a big topic. I just really had to get to the point where I knew for mental recovery, for full recovery, for full food freedom, I need to let go of this ethical thing, at least temporarily. I don't think there's anything in it as long as you are eating enough calories. It's not just about eating enough calories. I thought that for such a long time I would never have dairy. It doesn't have any health benefits at all except of calories. And I don't think that. I think in recovery you do get health benefits from animal products because your body's in a very extreme under and malnourished state. And it's just something, you're just playing with the devil here when you're trying to convince yourself that it's fine to just cut out food groups and recover vegan or recover, I don't care how ethical it is. It also at the same time pleases your eating disorder, and that is what I'm talking about. We're talking about full recovery, not quasi, half, semi recovery, okay? We want the full thing. And I was messing around with Quasi Recovery for far too long, like 20 years, with all kinds of restrictions disguised in ethics and whatnot. And yeah. Okay, so let's get into some random things that I ate throughout 1 week now. You saw my chocolate oatmeal. I just love it so much, and I also can have it now again, but not replacing other things. Reminder, the unhealthy food choice is the one that pleases your eating disorder. It so is. And I don't care how unhealthy your brain says or diet culture says something is, it's still not as unhealthy as listening to your eating disorder. The healthiest food you can eat is that which challenges the eating disorder, and I could not agree more. Write down these two things on a paper and put it on the wall. Like, this is just something that's just truth. I often get people in my DMs tell me that they fear recovery and honoring their cravings is making them unhealthy. Having an eating disorder or a disordered relationship with food is unhealthy. No chocolate burger or whatever your mind is telling you is unhealthy. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you can go through it if you want, or also go onto her account on Instagram, because I do recommend you follow her. This was a midnight, dig into just plain rice. And yeah, Nutella, white bun. I had this seeded bread for one meal, and also this white bun with lunch. And this is actually kind of a Black Forest cake in a vegan, like for David's birthday, it was vegan. Really, really yummy. 3 things that transform my health. Okay, let's see. I allowed my body to settle at its set point. Trying to manipulate this means you can never be free around food. Yes. I stopped labeling food as good versus bad. Eating nutritious meals is great. Okay. I stopped focusing on what my body looks like and started focusing on what it does for me. Very great. The top 5 most addictive foods. Shocking. The foods that are most addictive and that you most crave are the ones you don't allow yourself to eat. This is so true, guys. If restriction is the problem, it won't be the solution. Also love that one. Restriction may seem like the solution to anxiety, stress, or feeling out of control. However, long term, it increases anxiety and stress and loss of control. It is so true, guys. And it has a range of negative side effects along the way. Yes, so true. True success doesn't require sacrificing your mental or physical health. Being recovered makes a world of difference from being in recovery. Yes, this is so key for you now. If you're in recovery, you will need or crave enormous amounts of highly palatable foods. Yes. If you are recovered, you will notice craving more nutrient-dense foods, not only the other ones. I'm afraid that some of us are comparing ourselves to people who are recovered versus people who are in recovery. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Once you are recovered, your body isn't scarcity mode anymore. Yeah, I mean, it needs quick energy dense foods as much as possible. You can go through this. This is too fast, sorry, I forgot it. This is absolutely normal, and it'll balance out once your body feels like there's an abundance of food. Lean in and try to trust that your body knows what it is doing. Yes, that's what I had to do, and that's how I went about recovery. When I was in recovery, I didn't crave anything nutrient dense, and that was the same for me. In extreme hunger and everything. Okay, so let's go back to some things I ate throughout a week. Nutella. I love Nutella, and also peanut butter and jam. This was one kind of meal I had. It's schnitzel and sausage and noodle salad and some veggies, and then also mayo and peanut butter and sriracha and stuff. I had this pizza thing. Don't know how it's called in English. Love everything pretzel and cheese. And I had nut chocolate cake here. Avocado on seeded buns. Love it. Bagel feeling. Also egg, avocado and egg, and a milky coffee. I love eggs and avocado on bread. It's just amazing. And that's just something you could not have in a cafe if you had the vegan restriction thing on top of it. I don't care how ethical it is. It was always ethical for me. Had these cheddar crackers, pretzel with schnitzel and egg, and a vegan sausage salad. Also, these were some screenshots there. When faced with a recipe in my ED, I would gradually eliminate or substitute ingredients which I thought were unnecessary calories. I hated doing it. It was weird. It made the meals never taste as good. Yes, it was the same for me. Overall, I hated doing it because I gave food so much power over me in my life. But in the moment, I felt compelled to do it because the fear and the thoughts were so loud. It's the same for me. Yep. So I used opposite action, she says. Remember, you can eat more than others, yes, even if they're male and the world made you believe that you need to eat less than them. And it's okay to be the only one having a milky hot choc and a snack because you fancy it. Just some late night thoughts. Recovery is so much more than food. Yes, it's food and food freedom. Carbs that are healthy and great for weight loss. I want you to focus on her hand there, and she has some circulation problems there. Just saying, I don't think she's eating enough calories at all. The irony is that your obsession with being healthy is unhealthy. Yes. Okay, she shows some you can read through it. I love this fudgy chocolate and nutty cake with the flat white coffee there. Let them judge you, let them misunderstand you, let them gossip about you. Yeah, that's something that I had to get my mindset to in recovery. Tons of cheese, full-fat cheese on bread here. I want you to have the courage to be disliked. And you know that you, exactly as you are, exactly as who you truly are, you are wonderful. Yeah, that's just so nice. Have the courage to be disliked today. Other people liking you is a bonus. You liking yourself is the real prize. And that's just something that with weight gain, it just happened for me, and that's just so beautiful. I hope, guys, that this video brought you so much enrichment into your life. If so, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs it. And I will see you on Sunday with the next video of a day of what I eat today, like a detailed one. And let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Bye.